All right, y'all. Mark here, cooking books, bringing the info. So here's the thing, real quick, folks. So somebody asked me the other day about something. So I'm gonna speak on it right here. I'm gonna put it up for you guys. If you're under the sound of my voice, I hope this is instructional, informational, and you can use this in your life or whatever. So in the book of Job, right? The devil went before God, right? The angels present themselves to God. In chapter 1 and chapter 2, the angels go before God, and it says that Satan was also there. The devil was there. And, a wager was made about Job's integrity and rightfulness and dignity and his faithfulness to God. There's a wager, a bet. So on the first occasion, the devil says, look, if you remove Job is only faithful because you got him hedged about. You got a hedge about him. You protecting him. You give him, he got nice houses, cars, land, beautiful wife, kids, everything's wonderful. So he's behaving himself. Remove all that and he'll curse you. So God says to the devil, all right, you know what? You have my permission to go and try Job, test Job. Did that, blah, 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 blah. Job still remained faithful. So devil comes back again and says, listen, skin for skin, all that a man has, he'll trade, for his life. So in other words, what Job is saying, what the devil is saying now is, okay, I took all his material stuff, but let me inflict him personally now, physically. So God says, you know what? All right, I give you permission to inflict him with illness, sickness, whatever, but you can't kill him. Notice, he says, I'm paraphrasing, but this is what he says to him. He says, you could do whatever you want to do, but spare his life, save his life. You can't kill him. You can't kill him, but you can test him. You can give him sickness, ill, whatever. So the devil goes and he does the same thing again. That's all. Pause right there. We can go on forever with the story, but pause right there. Because this is where it hits home. This is what I want. This is the gist. I want you guys to focus on something here. In the book, I believe it's in Matthew. I think it's also in Luke. Don't quote me on exactly what books they're in, but it's in the scriptures. We can, I can evidence that. You can evidence that. Research this. Jesus says to Peter, Satan desires to sift you like wheat. Pause. I can continue with the scripture because I know it well, but we're gonna stay right there because this. I wanna strategically build this argument, to bolster this argument, to prove my point here. I'm gonna prove a point scripturally. So we see in the book of Matthew that Jesus tells Peter, the devil desires to sift you like wheat. Sifting like wheat is a process where you thresh the wheat, you're shaking it to remove the impurities, right? So when you sift wheat, you throw it way up in the air, you might beat it on the floor, and this is where you're breaking the shell and you're removing all the chaff. It's called chaff, like stuff that's useless. It's not useful. You want the pure grain. So that's sifting wheat. So so Satan desires to sift you like wheat. If I go to a king and I say I desire to do this, that's archaic language. So in medieval times, I would say, sire, I desire to go here. I'm making a request. In other words, if I desire something, I'm making a request. Satan desires to sift you like wheat. That could be translated, Satan has asked for permission to sift you, to try you, to test you, to beat you like they do wheat. So in the book of Job, in the book of Matthew, we're seeing there's two things here that I want to really highlight. We're seeing the devil getting permission from God to test you, to try you, to inflict some kind of pain upon you. All right, so here's the thing. People talking about, like, can people put curses on you? There's powers out there. Can people put spells on you? Can people cast curses on you? Let me tell you something, folks. People can't do a damn thing with that shit. Pardon my language. Let me keep it clean. Let me tell you something, folks. Y'all got nothing, absolutely nothing to fear. Nothing. Nothing. If you focus on these two scriptures I just gave you, there's so many others. Psalms 35, Psalms 109, but we're just going to stick with these two for now. Because to me, I find them to be the most potent. They have the most potency, spiritual potency, right? In both cases, Satan has to get permission from God to touch you, to inflict pain on you, to bring trouble into your life. There's no curse, no spell, no voodoo, nothing that can get to you without God's permission. Because all the cooking of spirits and demonic worship and whatever they're doing, remember, that is the devil. He's the author of that. That is Satan's practice. You are worshiping Satan, Beelzebub, whatever you want to call him. So anybody who's trying to put something on you, you got to know this. There's nothing that can touch you except the Lord lets it. God has his hands extended towards you as a protective shield. And there's no power greater than the power of God. John 10, 28 through 30 says, my Father is greater than all, and all that the Father has given unto me, no man can or shall pluck them out of my hands. I and my Father are one. I'll say that again. No man shall pluck, any man, no man shall pluck them out of my hands. This is the book of John 10, 28 through 30. My Father is greater than all. People, understand this. This is the beauty of it. This is why people ask me, people say, yo, you don't believe it? Listen, nobody could put nothing on me. There's nothing you can do that could touch me. It's impossible. Like, I will give you my hair, my blood, social security number, phone number, address. There's no, you cannot put, nobody could put nothing can touch me. You could work it, you could do it all you want. This is going to backfire and hit your kids or some shit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Read Psalms 35. This is going to hit your kids or hit your loved ones or hit you. Nobody, because here is where I get my confidence. Here's where my faith is. I'm more than convicted. I'm more than persuaded. This is anagenesko. It's a Greek word that means you know what you know, what you know, what you know. Anagenesko, look it up. This is where my knowing comes from. That when the devil said, listen, can I touch Job? God said, you know what? Go ahead. He's my man. I'm putting all my chips that he gonna pass this test. Go ahead. Then he came back to him a second time when he saw Job wasn't cracking. Yo, can I touch him again? God said, you know what? That's my son right there. That's my dude. Like, that's my guy. I got confidence in him. I believe in him. Go ahead, touch him again. Watch, he still hold his faith. That instills something in me. It resonated with me. It struck a light, a eureka moment with me. It's like, okay. So if something touches me, here's the thing, folks. If something happens to me in this life, you haters out there or whoever, oh, somebody done something to, let me tell you something, folks. If it touched me, God allowed it to touch me. You dig? You know what I'm saying? My job is to be mindful that if my finances just got disrupted, if my marriage just got disrupted, if I lost my house, my car, my job, anything happens to me, my only job is to know that, yo, God let it hit you. And if you know God let it touch you, you know also in the book of Corinthians, Paul said, look, remove this thorn. 3 times he said, God, could you take this thorn out of my flesh? God said, nah, my grace is sufficient. What that tells me, when I tie Corinthians with Job 1 and 2, with Matt, when I tie all 3 of these in, what that tells me is this: if anything happens to me, whether I get sick, whether I lose my job, again, anything happens to me, it ain't got nothing to do with nobody. Here's what it got everything to do with. God allowed it to touch me, right? And if he allowed it to touch me, he allowed, according to Corinthians, he allowed his grace, which is sufficient enough for me to keep moving on, for me to keep my faith, for me to keep strong. He also says nothing, listen, there's no sin not common to man. But whatever touches you, whatever you're going through, he allows a way for you to escape, that you may be able to endure it. What that all means is God ain't gonna put nothing on you you can't bear. That's translation. What it also means is that, again, if He allows it to touch you. He allows you the grace to endure it. Remember in Ecclesiastes, the race ain't to the swift, it ain't to the strong, but to those who can endure. So he will give you the endure. Look, people think, listen, man, walking with God don't mean you're going to have everything nice and easy and breezy and life is pleasurable. It's the opposite. Walking with God means you're about to go through some real trials. People don't understand that. You live in the world that Corinthians says is under the authority of the demonic forces of the prince of this air, the prince of darkness, Satan, the ruler of this world, right? God created a utopian system. Man was deceived and turned it into a dystopian system. And right now we're living in a dystopia. And if you go look it up if you don't know what that means. So everything, you're going to have more negativity happening to you than positivity. But understand as well, folks, can't nobody put nothing on you. If something happens to you, God allows it to happen to you, okay? And there's a cause, there's a reason why he allowed it to happen to you. But here's your only job. This is our only responsibility. Because you can't, in the book of Chronicles, he says the battle ain't yours. Okay, be still and see the salvation of God. You need not fight. You can't fight this battle. You can't win this battle. Human strength is frail. Okay? Human strength is frail. We got this COVID stuff. We can't even deal with this. You can't fight this battle. But here's what you got to understand. Here's what you got to understand. Your only responsibility, your only job, the only job you got is to be conscious, is to be mindful that if God let this touch me, it's happening because he has a purpose. It's supposed to bring me somewhere. It's part of the journey. It's part of my experience. It's part of my process. It's supposed to evolve and develop me. There is a positive that comes out of this negative. That's your only responsibility, is to know that, hey, it only happened because God allowed it. And God ain't going to allow nothing bad without some good end, some means to an end, some outcome that's beneficial for me. So as long as I remember that listen, my wife left, she cheated, I lost my job. Okay, that could not have, okay, that's the devil attacking me. Okay, I'm conscious. That's Satan. Okay, you sifting me right now. You got permission to sift me. Okay, but I'm conscious that this could have only happened with the permission of God. And let me tell you something, folks. Y'all got a misconception of God. God ain't all peachy, rosy, happy-go-lucky. He's going to allow you to go through some stuff. He's going to allow you to get beat. He's going to allow it. And I know why? The same reason why you allow your son to fight. Fathers out there under the sound of my voice, all of us out here would allow our sons to get into a fight. I'm growing up, every man will let his son fight. Your son come home crying, you bring him out, you go fight. Because you want to toughen him up. You want him to be a man. You want to teach mothers. You allow your daughters to go through certain things. You know what I'm saying? Let her go through that heartbreak, because that's going to teach her to be tough, how to deal with life. So God, think about that. God's going to allow you to go through some stuff so he could develop. He's building a man. You understand? God is a builder. He's engineering. He's building a man. He's building a man amongst men. So the only way to do that is to let you go through some fiery, I can't curse. I'm gonna be careful. He's gonna let you go through some stuff. Crucible, hot. But that's how you wedge, mold, and forge a man. You know what I'm saying? Not no boy, a man. So, folks, all you out there anybody under the sound of my voice, I dare you to try to put something on me. You can't. You can't. Nobody can. Nobody can. My spirit, I got a defiant spirit. You understand? My spirit is strong, man, listen, nobody can. Nobody. And trust me, anybody even try and attempt to, it's going to hit your kids. It's going to hit your kids, or it's going to hit you. It's going to ricochet, bounce back, and destroy your own stuff. You understand? So, and if anything touches me, folks, I got the knowledge. I understand the science. So you still can't. So either way you take it, I'm winning. Because if it touched me, I know God allowed it to touch me. And that alone gives me victory, because I'm going to be easy in it, in the eye of that storm. When that storm come, I'm going to pull out my surfboard and I'm going to ride it out. You dig? You understand? When that tsunami come, I'm going to do the backstroke in tsunamis. I'm going to be swimming. You dig? I'm going to get my Michael Phelps on in that water that's coming to flood me. Because I got the knowledge. I got the science. I understand the science. Job could not be touched without without God's permission. Satan got to get permission, folks, to touch you. So I leave my house every day and walk to come to the city. I got zero fear, zero paranoia, zero. Because I know COVID-19 can't touch me except the Lord allows it to. Now, practical sense though, that don't mean I'm walking out here with no mask on. I still mask up, you know what I'm saying? I still wash my hands, I practice my social distance, I still take my precautions, because I'm not, faith without works is dead. You understand? You can't have just blind faith. I'm not stupid, all right? I'll tell you a quick story. There's a man who sits on top of a roof and there's a flood. And a helicopter come to rescue the man. Some of y'all probably heard it. And the dude is like, nah, I'm gonna wait for God to save me. So the helicopter leaves. A boat comes by and says, yo, come through. And he's like, nah, I'm gonna wait for God to save me. The boat leaves, right? I forgot there was something else that came, but whatever. 3 things came to save him. He said, nah, I'm waiting for God. He dies and goes to heaven. And he go, God, why you ain't saved me? God said, look, I sent the boat. You said no. I sent you a helicopter. You said no. I sent you whatever that 3rd thing was. You said no. The moral of the story is don't be stupid. You understand what I'm saying? Don't be dumb. Don't let faith turn you into an idiot. Use your intellect. You got a part of the brain called the neocortex. It's the rational part of your thinking brain. It's the executive part of your brain responsible for judgment, for sound judgment, intellectual ration, and reasoning. All right? That's the neocortex. It's on the left side of the left hemisphere, which is your analytical, critical thinking brain. All right? Not the right side, which is the emotional intuition brain. So use that. Use that. I'm not a dumb person. I'm very intelligent. I know what I'm talking about. I practice my spirituality and I practice my intellectualism. I'm in the age of enlightenment. I'm aware of that. This ain't no dark ages talk. You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah, I got a little passion. I got to get to work, y'all. Peace.